And he's telling Naaman, what you ought to do. I see Naaman in all of his finery, in all of his self-importance, because he is the captain of the army of the nation of Syria, and he comes all the way to Israel in order to see this prophet of God. And I see him pulling up in his chariot in front of Elijah's crib. And of course, he has all of his men and all of his horses and all of his chariots, and the horns are blowing, and he's looking all important like Obama has just pulled up. And it's interesting to me that the prophet doesn't even bother to come out and greet the man. The prophet sends somebody else to tell this man what he ought to do. But more importantly than that, Pastor Bland, it is incredible to me what the prophet tells him, because what the prophet told Naaman, I'm telling you, I need to hear it too. What did he tell him? I'm getting ready to tell you what he told him. This is what he told him in verse 10. Let me just put it in the Haynes translation. He said several things. The message was several things that he gave to Naaman. Naaman had leprosy. Don't forget that. Naaman was in trouble. He was in trouble. He was sick. But look at this. What did he do? He tells Naaman, he says, go do what you wouldn't expect to do.
Right.
I like that. He sends the message to Naaman and says, boy. Yes, you get a man mad when you call boy. He says to him, go do what you wouldn't expect to do. And what was that? Wash.
Well.
Yeah, Naaman. I know you didn't expect me to do that. Go do what you wouldn't expect to do. And then he tells him, do it where you wouldn't expect to have to do it. And that was in the Jordan. So he says, go do what you wouldn't expect to do. Do it where you wouldn't. Oh, I wish I could talk about this for a minute. Oh, Naaman, I want you to go do what you wouldn't expect to do. What am I trying to say there? What am I trying to say, Elsa? I'm trying to say that so much of the time the Spirit of God speaks to us and tells us, if you want to get what you need to get, maybe you need to do what you. Oh, y'all. You need to do what you need to do in order to get what you need to get. He says, go do what you're supposed to do. I wish if I could have two words, Sanita, to say to Christians, especially baby Christians, I would tell them, knock off the nonsense, knock off the talk, and just do it.
That's right.
Just do holiness. Stop talking about holiness. Stop pretending about holiness. Stop sitting in church and learn how to do church. Don't do what you wouldn't expect to do. That was false. He says, do it where you wouldn't expect to do it. What you talking about? He said, do it in the Jordan. So in other words, Common, God has some specificity to this thing. Not only does he have purpose, but his purpose even has a place where he wants you to be. Y'all don't hear me. God wants you to be in a very specific place for his very specific purposes. So you got to check out, where am I supposed to be? He says, don't do it where you're supposed to do it. Where was it? It was in the Jordan. And then he tells them, not only do I want you to do what you wouldn't expect to do, not only do I want you to do it where you wouldn't expect to have to do it, but I want you to do it more times than you'd expect to have to do it. Man, I like that thing. How many times, Common, must I fall on my knees? Baby, you better learn how to do that thing over and over and over and over again when I need some help. He says,